over 50 and feel like you're starting over, whether it's with your health, your career, your relationships, or maybe your entire freaking life, I have news for you that's going to change everything. You're not starting over, you're starting from a whole new level of strength, and there is a massive difference. Welcome back to Straight Talk with Abby, your audio series to help you level up your life. I'm a personal trainer, certified nutritionist, and an accountability coach, and today I am here to make you understand that your best days are still ahead of you. Let me guess, you've heard some of those naughty little sayings that people say about turning 50, that at the age of 50, your best years are definitely behind you. I don't think so. That you should be thinking about winding down, not ramping up. You should be grateful for what you have and stop dreaming of what you could become. That you should accept that certain things are just unrealistic at your age. Society has convinced you that 50 is when you start preparing for irrelevance, that you're officially in the second half of life, as if it's all downhill from here. That you should start managing your limitations instead of maximizing your potential. But what if everything you've been told about turning 50 is wrong? What if 50 isn't the beginning of your decline? It's the beginning of your most powerful decade. What if everything you've been through wasn't preparation for settling? It was preparation for your greatest chapter yet. I'm about to share something with you that will completely reframe how you see this stage of your life. Because the story you've been told about being over 50, it's not just wrong, it's robbing you of your most transformative years. Here's what I want you to understand about turning 50. Everything you've been told about this decade is wrong. I used to think that 50 meant the beginning of limitations, that it meant accepting, good enough, instead of pursuing extraordinary. That it meant managing what I had instead of creating what I wanted. But what I've discovered now at age 50, that it's actually not about limitation, it's about liberation. Liberation from hearing what everyone else thinks. Liberation from pursuing things that don't actually matter to you. And liberation from the exhausting pressure to be perfect. At 50, you finally have something you've never had before, and that's the wisdom to know what serves you and the courage to say no to what doesn't. This isn't the decade when your options narrow. This is actually the decade when your focus sharpens, and there's a massive difference between those two things. Every mistake you've made, every failure you've experienced, and Lord knows Abby's done a bunch, but every time that you have been broken, it's not evidence that you're done. It's expertise, it's wisdom, it's the foundation for who you're becoming. Think about it. When you're 20, you have energy, but no wisdom. You make decisions based on what you think you should do, not what you know serves you. When you're 30, you have ambition, but often lack clarity. And when you're 40, you may still be figuring out what really matters to you. But when you're 50, you have something you've never had before. The perfect combination of wisdom, clarity, and the confidence that comes from having survived everything life has thrown at you. You've been through enough to know that perfect doesn't exist, which frees you to pursue authentic. You've made enough mistakes to know what truly serves you and what doesn't. You've experienced enough loss to know what's actually valuable. You've had enough life experience to know who you are and who you're not. This isn't starting over. This is starting with advantages you've never had before. Here's something that will blow your mind. We're living in the greatest longevity revolution in human history. The average woman today will live to be 81. That means if you're 50, you likely have 31 years or so ahead of you. That's 3 decades, longer than many people's entire careers. But here's the kicker. Those years don't have to be years of decline. Recent research shows that with the right approach to nutrition, movement, stress management, and mindset, your 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond can be your most vital, energetic, and fulfilling years. The Japanese have a concept called ikigai, which is your reason for being. They believe you don't even discover your true ikigai until midlife, because that's when you finally have had enough experience and wisdom to know what truly matters to you. Blue Zone research, studying the world's longest lived populations, shows that people who live to be 100 in good health share certain characteristics. And guess what? Almost all of them involve things that get better with age, not worse. Things like purpose, deep relationships, contribution to community, wisdom, perspective. Your 50s aren't the beginning of your decline. They're the beginning of your potential to live with more purpose, more clarity, and more impact than you ever have had before. And of course, yes, let's talk about your biology. At the age of 50, I know my body definitely has changed, and it's been a lot harder to keep it fit. But many things actually do improve dramatically. So let's focus on those for a second. Things like your emotional regulation gets significantly better. Your ability to handle stress improves. Your capacity for delayed gratification increases. Your decision-making becomes more sophisticated. Your ability to see the big picture enhances. You worry less about what others think and more about what truly matters. Neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to change and adapt, it doesn't stop at 50. It continues throughout your entire life. You can literally rewire your brain, learn new skills, and create new neural pathways at any age. In fact, many cognitive abilities peak in your 50s and 60s. Your crystallized intelligence, which is your ability to use accumulated knowledge and experience, continues to grow throughout your life. Your pattern recognition, your ability to make connections, your capacity for complex thinking, all of these can be at their peak right now. And physically, of course, yes, I'm your fitness chick. I'm going to really zone in on this one because I truly believe with all of my heart, with the right approach, you can be stronger, more energetic, and healthier at age 60 than you were at 40. I have clients in their 70s who are in the best shape of their lives. Let me tell you about some of my clients who prove this every day. Margaret started her fitness journey with me at the age of 54 after she had a health scare. She had never been athletic in her entire life. But 8 years later, at the age of 62, she completed her first triathlon and says she has more energy now than she had in her 30s. Patricia left her 25-year corporate career at age 53 to start her own consulting business. Everyone thought I was having a midlife crisis, she told me. Starting over at 53? But 9 years later, she has built a thriving practice and says it's the most fulfilling work of her life. And my friend Linda, also a client, got divorced at age 52 and felt like her romantic life was over. Don't we all feel like that? She told me, who's going to want a 52-year-old woman? And I said, girl, I'm right behind you. Don't be saying that. But she focused on becoming the person she wanted to be. She started prioritizing her health and fitness and her happiness. And now at age 56, she has met her soulmate and says she's experiencing love in a way she never thought possible. These women aren't exceptions. They're examples of what's possible when you reject the narrative of decline and embrace the reality of potential. The ancient Greeks had a concept that modern science has now proven. Anti-fragility is the ability to get stronger from stress, to become more resilient through challenges, and to grow from adversity. Your 50s aren't about managing decline. They're about leveraging antifragility. Every challenge you've survived has made you stronger. Every setback has taught you resilience. Every failure has given you wisdom. And again, every loss has taught you what's truly valuable. You're not starting over. You're starting with a stronger foundation, with more wisdom and resilience that your younger self never had. So let's reframe this narrative once and for all. You're not over the hill. You're at the summit with the clearest view of your path forward. You're not too old. You're perfectly seasoned, like a master craft person who's finally reached their peak skill. You're not starting over. You're launching from a platform of decades of wisdom and experience. You're not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to become who you're meant to be. You're not in decline. You're in your power decade. So here's what I want you to do. Stop measuring your life by someone else's timeline. Stop comparing your chapter 50 to someone else's chapter 25. Stop thinking that because you haven't achieved certain things by now, that you never will. Instead, ask yourself, truly ask yourself, what do I want the next 30 years of my life to look like? Who do I want to become? What kind of impact do I want to make? What adventures do I want to have? What dreams have I deferred that I want to finally pursue? And then start taking steps toward that vision. Not when you feel ready, not when conditions are perfect, not when you have it all figured out. Now. At 50, you have something that younger you never had. The wisdom to know what matters, the experience to know what works, the clarity to know who you are, and the courage that comes with it. Your 50s aren't the sunset of your life. They're high noon of your most authentic, powerful, purposeful years. Everything that you have been through has been preparation for what's coming next. You have something that the younger version of you never had, and it's time for you to leverage. This is not your second act. This is your main event. This is not your encore. This is your headlining performance. Your best days aren't behind you. They're ahead of you. Your greatest adventures aren't in your past. They're in your future. Your most meaningful contributions aren't in your rearview mirror. They're on your horizon. Stop living like your life is winding down. Start living like it's finally beginning. Because in all the ways that matter most, wisdom, purpose, authenticity, impact, it is. Your power decade doesn't start when you feel ready. It starts when you decide you're ready. And that decision can happen right now, in this moment, with your next breath. Welcome to the most powerful chapter of your life. It's time to write it boldly. Thanks for listening to Straight Talk with Abby. If this episode hit you where you needed it, here's what I want you to do. First, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Transformation is contagious, and you never know who's waiting for exactly this message. Second, if you're ready to stop starting over and start becoming the unstoppable version of yourself, I've got something for you. My audiobook, Your Breakthrough Era, Unstoppable Starts Here, is now available on Audible, iTunes, and Amazon. It's the deeper dive into everything we talk about here. And if you're ready to go all in on your fitness transformation, check out my program, Unstoppable 2.0, my 12-week program that combines fitness, mindset, and identity work to help you become who you're meant to be. You can find all the details at yourfitnesscheck.com. Remember, your breakthrough era doesn't start when you feel ready. It starts when you decide you're ready. I'll see you next time for more Straight Talk. Until then, keep breaking through.